Okay, everybody. Hello, hello. Are you out there? We are gonna start the lesson in a minute. We're gonna start the lesson in a minute. Serwa Bonsu. Hello. Nice to see you again. I'm doing very well. How are you? Sabia Madobi. Hello. I hope you're well. I'm going to wait for a couple of minutes to see if we have anyone else joining us. Okay, guys, good. Mohammed, hello, Mohammed. I'm just getting set up here. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. You know how it is. So we'll start in a few minutes when we hopefully have a few more people. I tell you what, I've got my Zoom room open. What you might want to do is jump over to Zoom. Okay. And then because sometimes it's not Mando. Hi. This is not very stable on Facebook. Okay. So what might happen is the Facebook live stream will go down. In that case, you can go to the Zoom room and keep following the lesson. Okay. So I suggest joining there as well, and then you can sort of keep watching on here, or you can watch on the Zoom one. Okay. All right. Let's wait for a little bit longer. Okay. How's everybody today? Okay. Nice to see you all. We're well. You're watching the ISP IELTS reading lesson, which we're going to do today. We're going to focus on reading today, okay? And yes or no, not given. Yes, no, not given questions. Okay. I don't have many students right now. I'm going to start in a second. I don't know if you guys can join or not. I've only got 2 people up there. I'm going to start in 2 minutes. Let's see if we have anyone else. If you're watching on Facebook, then give me a shout, guys. Let's close all this rubbish down. Okie doke. All right, let's start. I can see there's only one person there, but you know, it is what it is. Maybe you guys need more reminding. I don't know. We're going to start with the IELTS reading lesson today. We're going to focus on yes, no, or not given questions. Okay, so in the IELTS reading test, there are a lot of different kinds of questions. All right, or different question types that you might have, and these can be things like true or false, or you know, multiple choice maybe. There's also something called yes, no, and not given. All right. And yes, no, or not given. And well, what does it mean? Well, it's quite simple. You have a statement or several statements, and you need to read the text of the paragraph, and you need to say, are they? Is it? Does the writer agree? If he agrees it or she agrees, then it's yes. If they disagree, then you write no. And if there is no information, if you can't tell either way, then it would be a not given. And there's also true, false, or not given questions. Okay. The reason I started with these, I mean, the previous lessons I've done have been writing ones. The reason I started with this type of question today is because often it is the one which people struggle with the most. It can be a bit daunting, especially they're not given. Okay, what does that mean exactly? So let's begin anyway, guys. All right, so let's see, like, yes, no. Oops, bear with me for one moment. Put myself down here. Yes, no, not given questions are common in the IELTS reading test. There's a good chance you'll get one of these or a true, false, true, false, not given, as I said. Similar, however, they're not exactly the same. Okay, yes, no, not given is opinions, views, beliefs, whereas true, false, not given is about factual information. Okay, so there's a clear distinction there. Okay, are you guys still out there? It says only one person is watching this lesson, which is a bit sad. I was hoping there would be a few more of you. Is anyone else out there? Have you guys all disappeared like Sirwa and Sabia and Mohammed and Mando? You guys all gone? If you're out there, drop a comment so I can see. Anyway, let's carry on. So they're different, right? Yes, no, not given is about the writer's opinions or beliefs. Or perhaps other people in the text. Oh, you're here. We are here. Great. Well, maybe just might just be you. Anyway, opinions, views, and beliefs of the people who are mentioned. All right, so that's the people in the article, whether it's the writer or the characters in the text. Yeah. However, true, false, not given is actually factual information. Does 2 plus 2 equal 4? True. Does 1 plus 7 equal 10? False. So we're talking about factual information. So there are differences, but the principle is the same. Can we approve? Can we, disprove, or is there no information provided about that? Okay. Now, you will, for this kind of yes, no, not given question, you'll be given a set of statements and a text, right? So the text in IELTS can be quite long, guys. All right. I've got an example text here, which is a bit shorter for us today to look at. But the way it works is you get a set of statements about something in the text or sentences, and your task is to decide which of these applies to the statement, the information in the statement. Does the information agree with the views of the writer? If it does, does the statement of view agree with the views? Then it's yes. Sanya Tomer, hello. If it disagrees or contradicts what the writer thinks or says, then it's clearly a no. This is very important. It must clearly disagree or clearly contradict. All right, if you can't find any clear contradiction or disagreement, then it's probably a not given. It's impossible to know what the writer's point of view is. That is the key for this one, guys, all right? So if the writer does not say yes or does not say no, and you can't find a clear yes or a clear no, then it's most likely not given. Not given simply means that information is not included in the text. Of course, this is difficult for you as somebody who's reading the text because you don't know. You need to be very careful in choosing whether it's not given or it's not, or it's no. There's a fine line, right? So you need to kind of read it and tell yourself, explain to yourself, why is it not given? Or why is it no? Or why is it yes? Where is the evidence? So here is an example of some of statements, the kinds of statements that you might get, right? So it says, do the following statements. Let me get my pen up. And these are the statements down here. Do the following statements agree with the views of the writer in the passage? Write yes if the statement agrees. No if the statement contradicts. Not given if it's impossible to know what the writer's point of view is, right? So that's the task. And when you do the exam, it's going to look like this. Okay, you're going to have, let's say, around six statements, six sentences. Okay. Children can learn their first language without being taught. So you read that, you say children can learn their first language without being taught. What are the key words? Find the key words so you know what to look for. If you read the text and the writer agrees with this, if there's somewhere in the text where the writer agrees with this, then you will choose yes. If there is somewhere in the text where the writer contradicts this, then you will choose no. If there is nothing about first languages and children, then you will choose not given. Okay? It depends what you read. Okay? What you choose depends on what it says in the text. Simple, right? Good. All right, guys. Are you still out there? Hopefully you are. Let's carry on. Now, so like I said, probably have six statements, something like this. All right. Now, what I would suggest doing is underlining the key words. Find the key words in the statements so you know what to look for in the text. So, for example, baby talk, right? So you scan the text, okay, and you find the section where it refers to baby talk. Okay, but just because it says something about baby talk doesn't mean the answer is yes. Because later in the sentence or in the next sentence, it might contradict what is said. So you need to read the whole section where baby talk is mentioned to know if it's yes, no, not given. Do not assume anything. They are trying to trick you. The people who write this test, they are trying to trick you. They're trying to see if you actually read it properly. There's a lot of questions where if you don't read it properly, you will, and you guess or you assume the answer, it'll be wrong. You must read that section in detail very carefully. Okay? Because it'll contradict itself. In the following sentence, it will say the opposite. And you might miss that. Okay? So you need to do that. Very very important. Okay, so here's some tips to be aware of. Okay? The answers appear in the same order as in the text as the statements. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's the order of the statements. The answers in the text will be in the same order. So the answer for this one will be first, and the answer for this one will be second, the answer for this one will be third. You don't need to sort of, go up and down in the text, back and forth between the beginning and the end. If you just follow the order of the text, you'll find these bits in there, and then you have to read around each one very carefully. Yeah. You don't need to read the whole text. As I said just now, scan for the key words, and then you read in detail the section in which they're located. As I said, guys, very important. Read that section carefully. There will be at least one of each answer type, yes, no, or not given. So, what does that mean? It means that out of these 6, there will definitely be a yes, there will definitely be a no, and there will definitely be a no, a not given. Okay, it's impossible that one of those won't be in there. So, for example, if you completed, if you wrote no, yes, 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 and no for all of them, and you didn't choose not given for any question, then that's wrong. There's always going to be at least one of each, okay, in there, right? And then there are some things we call distractors, okay? So distractors, as I said, they're trying to confuse you, they're trying to trick you, they're trying to trip you up. So that could be things like occasionally, or often, or always, or a few. You need to be aware of these words because they might flip the meaning. All right. If it says it's always, and then in the text it says it's often, you might say, children always learn better by reading. And then in the text it says something like, young people often learn best by reading books. It says something very similar, but often is not the same as always. So that's why I need to read very carefully each section. For example, right? Can you know these little single words, they completely change the meaning. Julio often goes to the gym. Julio occasionally goes to the gym. Hmm. Almost the same, but totally different simply because of these words. Remember, guys, you must have an exact match for the opinion to be yes. If it's not an exact match, it's probably no. And if it's not clear, then it's probably not given. These are other things which could trip you up. Qualifying words, because they can also alter the meaning. He claimed that profits had gone up. He knew that profits had gone up. Similar, but totally different meaning. Okay, so watch out for those words because they'll trip you up. Okay, so before we look at an example, let's just go over some more tips. So if you're going to choose yes, the view of the writer must exactly match the statement, even if the words are different. The words will be different, guys. Let's put it that way, okay? Let's be honest. They're not going to put the same as what in the statement in the question is not going to be exactly the same as in the text. That's the skill that you need to employ, right? Synonyms, knowing synonyms and being able to read something and say, okay, that means the same as that, right? That's what they're asking you to do essentially, right? So they're not going to have the same thing. So you need to read and you need to decipher, understand, or see, does it mean the same as the statement? If it does, it's yes. But it must be exactly the same. Watch out for those words, those tricky words that might change meaning. And if you really cannot find, if you're struggling to find any opinion, a writer's opinion, that is probably because it's not there, and therefore it's not given. You know, if there's definitely not yes, there's definitely not no, then it must be not given, right? Unless you missed something. By the way, guys, you're watching ISP IELTS reading lesson, okay? I hope you're still out there. Hope you're having a good time, good day. Hope you're enjoying it. You know, any questions, drop them in the comments on the Facebook Live. Okay, it seems to be going okay today. They're not banning me and they're not blocking me, and seems to be working, so that's good. Okay, let's look at an example text. Okay, so this text is a bit short. The one in the actual exam will be longer than this, but it's just an example. Okay, so let's just quickly read it together. Yeah, there is little evidence of a link, and I'm just going to get my pointer. There is little evidence of a link between the amount of time teenagers spend on devices and their general well-being, a study has suggested. It counters claims that teenagers' mental and physical health could be damaged by excessive screen time. Even just before bedtime, being online, gaming, or watching TV is not damaging to young people's mental health, study authors said. They questioned the methodology of previous studies. While psychological science can be a powerful tool for understanding the link between screen use and adolescent well-being, it still routinely fails to supply stakeholders and the public with high-quality, transparent, and objective investigations into growing concerns about digital technology, said Professor Andrew Przybylski, Director of Research at the Oxford Internet Institute (OII) and co-author of the study. Earlier this year, the Royal College of Pediatrics and Child Health (RCPCH) reached a similar conclusion to the Oxford University study, but did suggest parents tell their children to put down their devices in the hour before they go to bed. Dr. Max Davey from RCPCH said of the new study, the controversy around screen use and adolescent well-being has always suffered from an excess of opinion relative to data, and this paper helps to correct this. The analysis is robust and suggests an overall population effect too small to warrant consideration as a public health problem. They also questioned the widely held belief that screens before bedtime are especially bad for mental health. However, none of this is intended to suggest that screen time cannot become excessive in individual cases, and we would still suggest that families follow our guidance published this year. We continue for now to recommend that screens be avoided for 1 hour before bed, since there are other reasons beside mental health for children to need a good night's sleep. But others felt the study did not go far enough. Dr. Bernadka Dubichka, sorry about that, chair of the Child and Adolescent Faculty at the Royal College of Psychiatrists, said that although this is a well-conducted study involving a large data set, the conclusions can only be limited. The study looks at how long children spend looking at screens, but not at what harmful content they might see. We know that screen time is not the main driver of mental illness, but dangerous online content can have an enormous impact on young people and their mental health. As a frontline clinician, I regularly see young people who have deliberately hurt themselves after discussing self-harm techniques on social media. Urgent research is needed to explore the complex relationship between online content and young people, with particular attention given to the most vulnerable. Okay, so look at the heading, teens not damaged by screen time. Study finds. The article is about some research that was done that actually refutes the suggestion, the commonly held idea that watching your phone it leads to mental health problems. So apparently it doesn't. However, on the other hand, other people are saying that actually, it's not the physical watching of the screen, but it's the content that they are consuming that causes the mental health issues, not the technical hardware. So here are your statements, guys. Remember, yes, no, not given. Statement one, have a look. Viewing an electronic screen before going to sleep at night is harmful. Statement 2. Psychological science can explain the connection between computer use and mental and physical health problems in teenagers. The RCPCH advise that kids should not view electronic devices in the 60 minutes leading up to bedtime. Watching online violence is detrimental to the mental well-being of adolescents, according to Dr. Dubichka. Again, guys, in the real exam, you would have 7 statements. This is just an example. So, does the writer agree with number 1? Viewing an electronic screen before going to sleep at night is harmful. So remember, we're going to sort of underline our keywords before going to sleep at night is harmful. Yes, no, or not given in the text. Put your suggestions in the chat, in the chat, live chat on Facebook. If you think it's yes or no or not given, put your answer, and we'll see if you're right. Okay. Oops. So, viewing an electronic screen is harmful. There is little evidence of a link between the amount of time teenagers spend on devices and their general well-being. Gaming or watching TV is not damaging to young people's mental health. Gaming or watching TV is not damaging to young people's mental health. So, viewing an electronic screen before going to sleep at night is harmful. The answer is, as Sirwar says, the answer in this case is no. In the article, it is not harmful. Okay, psychological science can explain the connection between computer use and mental and physical health problems in teenagers. Psychological science can explain. Okay, remember, underline your keywords. Can explain the connection. Computer use and mental and physical health problems in teenagers. It can. Can it? Can psychological science explain this? While psychological science can, so it can. So yes, is it? No, it still routinely fails to supply stakeholders and the public with high quality, transparent, and objective investigation. Fails. It fails. Psychological science can explain. No, he said it fails. So therefore the answer is no. It doesn't do this. So Serwa says yes, but actually it's no, Serwa, okay? It can explain the connection. It can be a powerful tool, but it fails to supply stakeholders. So actually, it doesn't explain clearly. Yeah, it can help, but it doesn't completely explain, right? Okay, 3. The RCPCH advised that kids should not view electronic devices in the 60 minutes leading up to bedtime. RCPCH should not view 60 minutes before bedtime. True or false? Or yeah, true, yes, no, not given. Let's have a look. So we got Dr. Max Davey from the RCPCH, and this is him talking here, and he says, we would still suggest that families follow our guidance published earlier this year. We continue for now to recommend that screens be avoided for 1 hour before bed. We recommend that screens be avoided. Be avoided. So should be, it must be avoided for 1 hour before bed. So the RCPCH advise the kids should not view electronic devices in the 60 minutes leading up to bedtime. Yes or no? Or not given? Hi, Anita. Watching from KL. Brilliant, actually. I used to live in KL. I used to work at the British Council in Kuala Lumpur. I used to live in off Jalan Ampang. Great city. Great city. Okay. So, is it true? Is it yes? Is it no? Not given. It is yes. Okay. The writer actually says there's something in the text. Somebody in the text said to agree with this, so therefore it's yes. Okay. Okay, the last one. Watching online violence is detrimental. What does detrimental mean, guys? Okay, so we've got violence as a keyword. Detrimental. Detrimental is bad, something bad. Okay, harmful to the mental well-being of adolescents, according to Dr. Dubitska. Yes, no, not given. Let's take a look. Where's Dr. Dubitska? Okay, here's Dubitska. So let's scan the text. We scanned the text. We found the place where her, yeah, you're right, damaging, Anita, yeah. We found where she's mentioned. So let's focus our attention on this area. Now, one of our keywords was violence. Violence. So we need to remember, if it's going to be yes or no, it must be exactly the same as what the statement says. But can you find the word violence in the text? Charles, although this is a well-conducted study involving a large data set, the conclusions can be limited. The study looks at how long children spend looking at screens, but not at what harmful content they might see. We know that screen time is not the main driver of mental illness, but dangerous online content can have an enormous impact on young people. Okay, so remember, we're looking for that word violent or violence. We have the word dangerous. Is that the same as violent? What do you think? Would you say that they're synonyms, dangerous and violent? Of course, violence is dangerous, but are they the same thing all the time? Always? I don't think so. I think something can be dangerous, but not violent. What do you think? Let's talk about, I don't know, drugs, for example, or driving your car. Driving your car too fast is dangerous. Taking lots of drugs is dangerous. Is it violent? Is driving your car violent? Not really. It could be if you drive it like really, really badly to hurt somebody, but it's not a violent act. So we can't say it's exactly the same. Remember, if it has to be yes or no, it must be exactly the same. In this case, it's not exactly the same. Watching online violence. Ah, it's dangerous. She says watching dangerous things online, but it's not violent. So in this case, we're going to have to choose, guys, not given, because we don't know. Maybe she thinks about, I'm sure she thinks violence is bad. She must think violence is bad and detrimental, but she doesn't explicitly say that. So that's why we have to choose NG. Okay? And that's the main thing to take away from this lesson. Okay? If it's not the same as what's in the text, okay, then it must be NG. If it goes against what's in the text, it must be no. If it completely agrees with what's in the text, then it must be yes. Okay? And that's how it works. And true, false, not given are very similar, except that those are factual statements, whereas these are more opinion based. Okay? Good, everybody. Okay, so hopefully, I mean, if you have any questions or anything, you can drop, put a question in the comments. I'll sort of leave the comments open for another couple of minutes. If you have any questions, feel free. I'll try and answer them. But that's basically, the lesson today. Just a quick lesson today, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, okay? But it's just a sort of introduction to this kind of question. Of course, you need to practice yourself doing a lot of these reading tests, reading tasks, mock lessons and things. So you get familiar with exactly, what kinds of, style that, what to look out for. But this is just, to clear up how these work. Okay. So remember the things to remember, questions will be chronological in the order of the text. And yeah, you need to make sure that you definitely agree or definitely disagree, or if we can't say, then it's not given. Okay. Okay, guys. I don't see any questions in the comments. I'll stick around for another minute or something like that. If you have any questions, drop one in the chat box. Otherwise, I'll probably end the lesson in a minute. Thanks for dropping by, guys, to this lesson, ISP IELTS. We do this every Sunday. If you're new, we do this every Sunday. That is 5 p.m. South Korean time. We did a load of lessons on writing. I probably done, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 different writing lessons, which you can find on the ISP IELTS YouTube and ISP IELTS Facebook page. We're moving on to reading now. Today was the first reading lesson, but next week we're going to move on and look at some different kinds of questions from the reading test. Okay. Okay. Sirwa says, "Oh, very helpful. Thanks, sir. You're welcome. It's great to see you again, Sirwa. Yes, thanks for dropping by. Thanks, Anita. And I hope the weather's not too hot and rainy in KL. Normally it is, as I remember. Great food. I miss Malaysian food a lot. I used to love it so much. Anyway, guys, thanks very much for watching. I'm gonna stop the live stream now. Okay, the lesson's over. I hope to see you again next week. Please look out on the ISP IELTS Facebook page for details about next week's lesson. Okay, everybody.